Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum here after the daily candle close. Today we saw a little bit of volatility here after or during Powell's speech. Personally, I would recommend to anybody who entered in our trend reversal area here. Again, these are the pivot points because I often get the question how Elliott Waves are going to be traded. Now you can enter in these areas. If you do that, that's entirely your decision. So please don't understand any of these support or resistance areas as financial advice. But just to give you an example, we had a support area here that did hold and could, until now, is a profitable trade. There was one here which generated also a profitable trade, depending on the time frame. Yeah, you always should, when you enter these, check that you move up your stop loss after entering, because as you can see here, they can always come down again. So the idea is, if it fails to create an impulse, possibly you have a chance to exit again, scale out, or to move up the stop loss. Had one here that worked out as well, and I think we had one support area that broke in here. I did take that out because it's not relevant anymore, but just to show you how these work. So I had a couple of comments, or just one comment. Someone asked me how these can be traded, because the confirmation of a move only happens well after the wave occurred. Well, yeah, that's true. You always have more than one option, of course. You have more than one scenario. The market, of course, can do what the market wants to do. So what I do is I try to identify the 2 or 3 most likely counts for you. And then for you to understand the key pivot points, decision points, support areas, resistance areas. So the key is, you don't trade when you have confirmation. You trade the decision points. You trade the pivot points where the risk is low. And as I said to you before, we had here 2 possible entry points. We had one here in the box. Now you can enter here. You can enter here. You have 2 or 3 limit orders possibly scheduled here, or as buy orders in this area. And sometimes only 1 triggers, sometimes 2 trigger, sometimes 3. That's what it is, right? And if you miss a trade, that's not a problem. At least you didn't lose money. And when the trade, let's say you normally would set a first order at the top here, maybe the smallest position of them. And if it then moves into the expected direction, like it did here, then you can move up your stop loss. Yeah, we talked in the previous video about a breakout of the wedge would, in the end, the 1660 level would lead to the price probably accelerating to the upside, which it surely is doing at the moment. So we had a possible pullback trade, which was here, the pullback into the support area. Or some people might want to wait for the breakout and trade the breakout. So you could have done that here, or trade the breakout above 1660. Now you can see how it puts you in a favorable position to trade the pullback, because you have a large distance now. I mean, this was an intraday profit of, even if you just entered here, now of around 3.5%. Not massive, but good for intraday. Now you can either decide to take profits, or you move up the stop loss. That's how it works. You don't wait for confirmation. That's pointless. Yeah, you don't want to wait for confirmation. We use the Elliott Waves to understand where are the key support areas, pivot points, and then these can be used to enter and exit. Because when you use them to enter, you have very low risk, because you can move your stop loss very, very close below the box, or wherever you like to move it, really. But the key is that these boxes and the support that is relevant as per Fibonacci support levels and as per the Elliott Waves, these support levels give you a very clear idea of what is your risk versus the potential reward. And if you have 2 or 3 different counts, like you have a bullish count and a bearish count, sometimes they do align, and then you have confluence, and then you have upside in a bullish and bearish count. That's even better. Then you have higher probability of working out. And the other thing is, I don't know, some people think you have to trade every wave. I mean, sometimes when you have one bullish count, one bearish count, and they go clearly in the opposite direction, and you're in the middle of a move, there is just no edge, and then you of course don't trade it. Yeah, that's how to understand it. Now here again, I can really recommend to you to move up your stop loss, because this could still be a bearish move. Bitcoin is still hovering around, possibly doing a B wave, which Ethereum could do as well. So here the idea is, now after the breakout, it could certainly move up. This was certainly a possible profitable trade. We several times entered the area here, and yeah, this was great. And if you again move up the stop loss, it makes sense in my opinion, because ideally in a bullish version, this would now rally into the $1,800 region. Now we had the first signal, the 1660 level was broken, or we had several signals, yeah, but the 1660 level was broken, which now would suggest more upside, and I would now expect it to run a bit higher. But then again, you know, some people might listen and hear that I say, okay, it might run a bit higher, and they might want to enter now, which is not a good idea in my opinion. You would not enter in the middle of a move. Ideally not, because you're not here entering at a breakout. You're far away from the breakout point and far away from the pullback setup. So entering now makes no sense. Yeah, it makes no sense, because your reward shrinks versus your risk. Because it could also be, and that is the bearish count. Of course, it could be that we're going to lose support here. Still, it's possible, because nobody knows the future. And that's the point why these pivot points should be traded, because you can easily move up your stop loss and reduce your risk. But in the bearish count, that's similar to what Bitcoin is doing here at the moment. We might have had here the situation that, let me think, yeah, the wave 4 finished here, that this was purely an A wave down, a B wave up, and we're now heading down in a C wave, and the C wave is, so A, B, C. And the question is, was the wave 3 here? Was it here? Both options possible. Therefore, ABC is possible. And in a C wave, we had 5 waves down. So it is very much possible that we say this here. I'm not going to show I just draw it. We had a wave 1 down. This is currently a wave 2 to the upside. Yeah. And if we don't break above the 1715 high, this here might just be a wave 2, and we come down in 3, 4, 5, yeah? So this is how it could send us into the yellow box. That's why it's so important to move up the stop loss in the current situation, because due to Powell, we had a bit of a choppy move here. And this looks at the moment like a 3-wave structure. So it could very well be this was a wave 1. Here we had an A wave, a B wave, and this is now the C wave of 2. Basically something like that, moved down in wave 1. This is now a wave 2, and we rally next in a 3 down, 4 up. So that's sort of, how you can protect yourself from that move by moving up your stop loss. And otherwise, there is no edge now. Yeah, it's basically now in no man's land. I would, this was the entry point, or maybe the breakout. But if you didn't enter then, I don't see any point at the moment, but that's up to you. You can trade anything if you want to, but I don't see a clear setup now. And ideally, we would have the next target here at the B wave high. We're nearly there at around 1692. And if it breaks through that, it could get to that 1715 level, and then we have the decision, yeah? Because if this is a wave 1 down and the wave 2 up, it should really nearly be finished now. Nearly finished. I mean, I would allow it as a well, yeah, it shouldn't go much higher. 1692 will be a decision. Okay, and that's my update about Ethereum. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.